Have I ever called the police? No.
I think the police are inherently prejudiced.
I've never met a bad cop.
They are not good people.
Just because you're wearing a blue uniform, people fucking hate you.
Was it?
That,
What do you think? Did you feel?
Yeah.
No.
I think.
I believe. What do you think?
Vice News has been going around the world talking to people about the big issues and how they think the news should cover them. This month, we've asked you to share your opinions on the police and the role they play in our societies. If you want to get involved in the conversation, you can do it with a Skype video message or with the hashtag Vice News.
I think the police play a really big role in society, particularly as preventers of crime and upholders of law and order.
I think the main role that police should play is to help people who need help.
It's the police's job to solve crime.
They are necessary for a functioning society.
In theory, the police is there to make sure people follow the law. The law is there to protect the citizens, so if the equation works, then the police protects the citizen.
I feel that in general, Mexicans have a negative perspective regarding law enforcement.
In Ukraine, there's too much problems with police.
I live in Kenya, and unfortunately, the police back home serve the politicians and the people in power.
The police in Vietnam are gangsters.
I live in a really nice neighborhood. I wave to the police officers, they wave back. They seem to be friendly. I mean, that's not true for every neighborhood, I know that.
I never called the police, but I think I wouldn't have any problem to call it if I needed to.
I have called the police recently. I was mugged in the middle of the night, and the police responded fairly quickly, and, you know, it was sorted out rather well.
Growing up in East Oakland, that was plagued with gun violence. Oftentimes, I'd call the police, they don't show up.
I don't trust them and I don't like them, and if I see them across the street, I run through the other way.
I've been stop and searched on a number of occasions growing up, and whether I like it or not, it has given me a bitter taste of the police.
As soon as I became a licensed driver, the police were a terrifying force in my life. Even if you do nothing wrong, you are constantly anticipating that you'll be pulled over.
There's been so much racial profiling and targetings for black ethnic minorities.
I think the shooting of Mike Brown in America has definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to the aggressive policing tactics over in the States.
It doesn't take a Twitter feed for us to know that we are unlawfully stopped, searched, seized on a regular basis.
You don't think about it unless it's in the news, and when it does, you're just like, holy shit, this, you know, I could have been walking down the street and something like that happens, and it's, I don't know, it's scary.
I guess, you know, white people had to see somebody die on camera for it to really be a major issue.
I do feel, in some respects, I do feel quite sorry for the police force because there is this general feeling of animosity towards them.
It's tough to put myself in the shoes of a police officer who, especially in a place like Chicago, like, you've got a target on your back.
I can only imagine the stress that they go through on a daily basis.
I certainly don't think their own image will be helped by walking around London streets with, like, massive Kalashnikovs.
Police have too many weapons. They should only have a taser, maybe.
I can't imagine that a police force would survive a day in any major city if they were unarmed, because you're never gonna unarm civilians.
I don't think every cop in the nation needs a fucking tank.
Where's this budget coming from to buy this stuff? Is that completely necessary? Is there a better way to spend that money?
In terms of police using force, you know, I think the only situation where it's warranted is where, you know, someone's life is being threatened.
They should be trained not to use force, but I think they should use it only to avoid bigger violence.
If it's there to stop someone from harming others, then yeah, I completely see the logic and rationale for the police to be able to use force. Until then, I don't buy it.